Welcome to the Progressive Podcast. It is episode 76. My name is Mietani Chitambira, and if you're watching this, take notes. Cool. So as you can see, we've got a very different setup this time around. All right. Right now, I'm in a different country. Edmilson, our wonderful co-host, is also in a different country. So we're going to be doing something different until we're able to lock in back in Johannesburg. Right now, we're just having some troubles. Not troubles, but, when waiting on visas and everything. But pretty much that is our situation right now. And we can't wait to get into our new setup. There's a couple of things I have here that I actually need to say. But before we get into the gist of things, it goes without saying that I really have to say this, and it brings me pleasure. It brings me great pleasure, and also it's exciting. I'm very excited for Eduardo. And what I mean by that is that Eduardo is no longer with us at the Progressive Podcast, and yeah, nothing malicious, and I just wanted to say and extend our gratitude to you, Eduardo, if you're watching this, and we want to say on behalf of everyone at the Progressive Podcast and at the Progressive Athlete that we would not be where we are right now, right here in 2024, in this wonderful new year, if it wasn't for the work that you put in and the insight and the amount that you just poured into our cups. I think Dumi and I, it goes without saying that we've become better co-hosts, better hosts, and the podcast has become better, not only because of us, but because of you and the influence that you've had on our podcast. So we are wishing you, Eduardo, all the best in your journey, and we're excited to see what you'll achieve. And we want you to know that you're welcome anytime on the podcast. Just drop one of us a message, and we'll make it happen. Cool. So here's what we're going to get into today. Dumi, like I said, Dumi's at home. You'll see his setup. My setup is the way it is simply because one of the things I do is I also shoot like videos and do work for my mom and for my dad as well. So this is kind of like a multi-purpose setup. So my setup is very different from Dumi's. Don't judge us, please. Behave in the comments. That's all I'm asking for. Cool. So the whole point of this episode is to really just take the time to reflect. This is our first episode of the year. Take the time to reflect on 2023, what worked, what didn't work, and also what I'm looking forward to this year. And then we'll bring it to a close. Okay, cool. So how I felt about 2023 was that it was a year where I learned a lot. Personally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, most definitely physically. And, it got to a point where there would be times where I wouldn't have much time for myself, right? Simply because of the amount of things I was doing for the podcast. I was working at my res at the student accommodation school as well, and then just general life things, at the end of the day, you really want to. It's good to reflect, and we've talked about this we've talked about this so much on the podcast, on the importance of reflecting and just taking a step back, and just saying, hey, that really rocked me, or that was actually quite nice. That was actually quite fun. So 2023 was a lot of learning. I really stretched myself to the max. I know what my maximum is. I know what my threshold is, and what I was watching, I saw this video by Jordan Peterson, and he was saying that in your 20s, right, you need to find what that threshold is, because once you know that, okay, cool, this is my maximum, it'll be a lot easier for you to say no to things. A lot of people, when, us young people, Gen Z, as people like to say, you have the fear of missing out. You actually don't have to go to that party. You actually don't have to be at that event. Sometimes you just need to stay home and, sit yourself down, look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, cool. How am I doing? And that is a very important question to ask. And as of late, recently, I've really been investing in my mental health and just my general well-being, given what we are, looking to achieve this year. But cool, I'm just going to share some things that didn't go well and that did go well in 2023 for me personally. So what didn't go well was I didn't hit all my goals. All right, I wasn't reading as much. I didn't read. I think I wanted to read about I don't know, 5 or 6 books the whole year, which is not like a huge number, but that's what I want. I think I only did like 2 or 3. And this is where it comes, when they say you need to make smart goals, you need to make some realistic goals. And the goal I had set wasn't too realistic for me, considering what I had set out for myself that last year. So I didn't hit all my goals, and I don't feel too proud about it, but I'm still in the process of setting my goals and, putting like your vision boards and everything, So for me, really, it's, it hurt me a bit. I was sitting down and I was thinking to myself, like, man, I really need to do better. So that didn't go well for me. My personal life struggles, I did struggle personally as well. And what does that look like? I'll try paint this picture the best way I can possibly paint it for you. When you are going on this journey of entrepreneurship and you are an ambitious person, you're doing many things. I think the life of I'm a multi-talented person, and it's hard to be good at more than one thing. And I say this because, one, there's this expectation of the people around you that, yo, dude, like, you're really blessed with the talent, like, you have to succeed. And that's okay. That's something I'm used to. But man, there's times where you just sit down and you just want to break from that. You really just want to break from, you just want to exist. You just want to be passive. People will be like, yo, dude, let's go out for games night, or whatever the case is. And I'm like, I just want time to myself. And I didn't give myself that much. I thought the time I had for myself was enough. But come December, when I was really reflecting and just looking at what had transpired, I didn't have enough time for myself, and I could have done better. And it's really something that I'm looking forward to, and I'll share to what I'm looking forward to doing this year. But yeah, it was a struggle for me personally, and just there'll be times I'll just be in autopilot, yeah, there'll be times I'll just be in autopilot. I'll just go through the days, go through the motions, and there'll be times where I'll never forget. There'll be times where weeks, days where I'll just want to experience one good thing that day. To wake up in the morning, go to the gym, and say, you know what, I'm going to try find one good thing today. That's it. I'm not trying to do too. I just want to look back on my day and say, wow, that was pretty cool. And we did some pretty cool things last year. I don't want to lie, but we'll get into that. And then, bringing on, I think my next point, my third and last point of the things that didn't go well for me were my mental health. Now, 2023 was a year, a lot of good things happened for me that year, last year. But at the peak of it all, my mental health wasn't in its best. It wasn't at its best, right? And these are some of the things that I urge every young person that wants to be, that wants to do something significant with your life, because there's no handbook with this type of thing, especially for the African child, because our economies are so, that they're so challenged already, especially if you want to try and make something that's going to bring, good return on investment financially. So already the economy is already, so much is already going on politically. Sometimes maybe you're in a situation where everyone in your family is relying on you to kind of break that generational, that generational breakthrough. I'm not saying that's the case for me. For me, it's completely different. And I'm blessed and I'm really privileged and grateful for the environment, for my family, for my friends, for the people that I have access to, right? That help me, to be the person that I am today. But it's important for me, and I would be doing you guys a disservice if I didn't tell you, if I didn't share some of the mental health issues that I faced. And one of them was just being able to breathe. I was having a chat with Dumi. We're having a meeting the other day, and I was saying, dude, we were moving at like 350 kilometers per hour every day for like 12 months, 11, give or take. And there were times when I was looking and I was writing down, I was sharing with my friends. I remember Sneh had said that, just write down every good thing that's happened this year. Just look at what God has helped you achieve. And I remember writing things down. And as I was writing things down, I remembered things that I forgot. I was like, oh, geez, I actually did this. I actually did that. Life's not actually as, tough as it may seem, because you go through so much that you get to a point where you're like, geez, everything is just bad. But that one thing, and that one thing has such a great significance in your life that it kind of overshadows everything that has happened in your life. So for me, it was a challenge for me last year. I don't want to lie to you guys. As much as Dumi and I were putting out the content and really pushing, Dumi and I really we will make it a thing this year to really be honest and share what we go through on a day-to-day basis. So for me, being an actor, being a creative by nature, with an entrepreneurial brain, I am extremely grateful to my parents for everything that they've done for me and my sisters and our family. And I think being I won't say I'm the only creative in my family. My sister's also pretty good at acting. She's quite good. Rulani, if you've seen this, no, you need to know. You're very good. And my sister's also just musically inclined. Litsako's she's the youngest one in our family, and she just has this talent, man. Like, I played her a song and I said, can you get this on the guitar? Within 5 minutes, she got the tune. It amazes me every time. I don't know how you do it. So we as a family, I think we are creatives, right, by birth, but I'm the one chasing it as a career here, I'm the one chasing it as a career. So no one has done that in my family, and there's no point of reference. I am the point of reference, and we're having discussions with my sister and seeing if this is actually what she wants to do. She's at that stage in her life. And just the fact that you don't have that point of reference, if I were to lean just solely into corporate, solely into business and entrepreneurship, my mom and dad are my best examples, best point of reference. They are my point of reference when it comes to everything business, right? So it gets challenging when you now trying to juggle all of this. My parents are trying to pour into my cup because that's what they want to do. That's what they need to do as my parents, right? And there's days where it got a bit overwhelming for me. And I remember sitting there, I'll be in the shower. Sometimes the showers would take a bit too long because, I've showered, I've cleansed myself and everything, but I'm just standing in the shower and just thinking, how is this all going to come together? And, every day, I remember chatting with my dad, and as their firstborn, every day it's the first time for them. It's the first time their child has finished their degree and is reaching that point where they actually need to kind of figure this whole career thing out. As actors, we don't get paid every day. Every month, so already it's a volatile environment. I enjoy it, and I think you have to be crazy to enjoy it. But those are some of the challenges that I face. There'll be times where I'll just be on autopilot. And yeah, I'm grateful for my family, for my friends, my therapist. Grateful. I see someone. So yeah, it's all good. But I'm definitely in a much better place mentally. In case you guys are wondering. So yeah, that's that. Those are the things that didn't go too well for me. And if you can relate, let me know what you guys think in the comments. But yeah, cool. Let's look at the positives. All right. These are, I think, the top 3 things that went well for me. And I really stretched myself. All right. I wanted to find that threshold because there was a point in my life where I really struggled to say no. Saying no was very hard for me. It was very challenging because I didn't want to, let people down and you get to a point where you're like people pleasing, and like someone asks you for help and you're like, you know what, I can help this person. And then, I had a hard time saying no at a point in my life, but I really stretched myself, doing the acting, doing, the voiceovers, doing the podcast, doing the business, speaking at events, working in res, and then working for my family and in our family business. It stretched me. It really stretched me to a point where I now, make use of my schedule. I now make use of my schedule. And I was having a chat with my friends and they were like, you are the type of guy to put something like that, if you want to call with someone, you're the type of guy to put on a schedule. And I have to, because there's so much going on for me. It gets a bit overwhelming. I mean, this year it's not as crazy. I don't want to lie. And I am blessed to have a wonderful team. Which is my next point. Our team, our family at the Progressive Athlete has actually grown quite a bit. There's 6 of us. There's myself. There's Shanice. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Everyone's wonderful, man. There's myself. There's Shanice. There's Dumi. There's Rifilwe. There's Kensani. And there's Mlungisi. And man, I love you guys. I love you guys to bits. I think about you guys every day. I get excited every time I have a conversation with my team, and it's amazing for me because there was where is it? It's not here, but before Dumi moved to Johannesburg, the year was 2022 or 2021. I think it was 2021. We sat down and we laid out a list of roles of people and departments that we want to have at the and I was like, dude, listen, I need some help me out. We wrote those things down and those people are there now, and it's surreal. Sometimes I shed some tears because I'm like, geez, God, like it's actually happening. So I'm so excited for what we can achieve, for what we are going to achieve, and the content we're going to be able to put out for you guys as well. So I really love my team. I love them so much. I love you guys. And I think this is the top one for me. 2023, I finished my degree. So for those of you that don't know, I studied a Bachelor of Arts in Live Performance. I was a screen acting major and my sub major was stage acting. So I managed to get that degree, and to finish it was very surreal. I'm grateful to everyone, that I came across in that degree, being like one of the few foreigners, in the class. It was, you guys made it home, and really made it a safe space. So I'm glad your boys degreed. My graduation's in March, so I need to figure that thing out, get a gown and, a suit or, the things people wear at graduations, right? So yeah, that for me, that was really something that it was a bit of a challenge figuring out what I wanted to study, because my parents were like, you at least need a degree, bro. So I was like, okay, well, let's do it in something I love doing and that comes natural to me. So I'm excited for the graduation that will happen this year. I know there's a couple of awards that will be given out there as well. I'm looking forward, if I get something, that's by the grace of God, but at the end of the day, what's the most important document for me is that degree. There were some challenges and, grateful. So here are some of the things that I'm looking forward to this year. All right. And what I'm looking forward to this year is growth and going outside. Personally and as a business. And as a progressive athlete, we are going through some changes, all right, especially in our product offering. We are revamping what we're going to be putting out to the market with our podcast as well. Once Dumi and I, settle down in Johannesburg and lock in, we will be in a different studio. We were shooting in my room, by the way, but we were shooting in my room back in Res, but we found a space And it's going to take a bit of time to, figure out, aesthetics and everything. But as you can see, we're trying something different here, without branding and everything. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that tunes into our podcast, really. But, it goes without saying that, if you're someone that wants to start something, go out and do it. Don't wait to do something. Don't wait for you to be ready to do something. Just go and do it. When Dume and I started this podcast, I was like, dude, I don't know who's going to listen to us. But hey, 3 years later, crazy. It's crazy that it's been 3 years. But 3 years later, we're streaming in 43 countries worldwide and people listen. So if you're looking to start something, don't wait until you're ready to start it. Just start it. All right. And if you need support, you know where to catch me on Instagram and everything. So I'm looking forward to growth within the podcast, growth within the business as well, and growth personally as an actor. And I think the biggest transition I've been making in the last few months is the transition of when you start a business, of course, you're the founder. And whether you're founder, co-founder, whatever the situation is, there's that transition that you go from founder to CEO, and people think that it's the same thing. It's actually not the same thing, because as a founder, you are a lot more, like sentimental with everything. But when you now move into that CEO, when you put on that CEO hat, CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer, in case you didn't know. But when you now put on that hat as a CEO, it's, I don't want to say dictatorial, but not like being a dictator, but you have to dictate the environment. You have to dictate what people are doing, how people are doing things. And I have to manage what we are taking on as a company and what we're saying no to, what we're saying yes to. And, the team is in a good space. I'm in a good space. And I cannot wait to see how things are going to pan out this year. We will be looking to launch our workshops. All right. We want to do some events, some online events, in-person events, depending on what you guys are down for, where we, do some in-depth, workshops on things like time management. Not everyone's good at managing their time. I myself it's taken me years to be really aggressive with my time management. So those are some of the things that we will be putting out, but do stay tuned. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in. This is our first episode of the year. Next episode will be Edmilson, all the way from Mozambique. So, but yeah, thank you very much, guys. Be sure to share with your friends, your loved ones, and have a solid week. Stay winning, stay progressing, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.